Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Weekend. Everybody doing well? Yes, fine. Raina, switch on your video. Who is missing? Sana is missing. Mm, Somebody else is missing. Grishma is missing. Yes. Okay, fine. Did you have any other class now? Just before? Yes? Yes, no?
No,
No. Okay. Now, what did we learn in the last class? What were we learning about? Ashish, what is the chapter's name? What is the chapter's name? He has to look. Or what are we learning about at least? Three processes.
Filterage.
Yes.
Filterage.
Please be a bit louder. I can't hear you.
The four filters.
Huh? What?
Four filters in mind.
I can't hear.
Four filters in mind.
Four filters in mind. Did I teach you four filters in mind? What are the filters, Ashish? Teach me.
Broadband filters.
Huh?
Broadband filter.
Broadband?
Filter.
Broadband filter. Then, next filter's name? Traceman filter, is it? Yes or no, Ashish?
Yes.
Traceman filter. And the third one is Johnston filter, no?
I think so.
And the last one, which is the last filter, Aishwarya?
Haynes, Johnston and Haynes.
Yeah, Haynes filter. Correct, no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now take your textbook and look at the heading. Four types of filter. Please don't get this into your heads, guys. Please don't. What were you doing in the last class, Ashish? What exactly were you doing in the last class while I was teaching? Unmute, unmute.
I don't know heading.
You don't know heading, but you know the concept very well, no?
Yes.
Okay, then explain to me what is a broadband filter.
In his filter, only one information is passed.
Then? That's all. Okay. Then what is the Haynes filter? Haynes filter? Haynes filter.
Only one get more strength.
Only one get
One,
most. That is Haynes
one
filter.
information.
Okay, fine. What is the difference between Haynes filter and Johnston filter? Yes. The difference between what was it? Haynes filter and Johnston filter. Oh God.
I don't know, man.
You don't know. You told me you don't know the headings, but you know the concepts very clear. Didn't you guys hear him telling that? Yes? Yes. It's not my problem, so I thought it's some hallucination or something. Yes, Ashish. Amal, what is the difference between the Haynes filter and Johnston filter?
Ma'am, both two invented one theory, multimedia.
Multimedia.
Multimode, ma'am. Sorry.
What is the Johnston filter and Haynes filter? Are they water purifiers or something?
No, ma'am.
The filters that we use in the kitchen to strain
No,
the
ma'am. About the
the
mind.
scrapings? Yes.
No, ma'am. About the mind filter. Might selects the.
Let me ask one more question. Who wants to answer that? I am going to ask one question. Who wants to answer that question? Elvina. Okay, fine. Is there something called Johnston filter and Haynes filter in psychology? Till the psychology that we learned, is there something like that?
No, ma'am.
Who disagrees to what Elvina said? Ashish, why are you not disagreeing? What should I do now? No, you tell me, what should I do now? Or rather, what should I do with this guy? Did I teach something called God, all those are the names of people who brought up the theories, Ashish. And you're telling me there are 4 types of filters in the mind. Oh God, what type of filter did we learn about? We learned about one filter theory put forward by, what was the person's name, Meghna?
Broadband.
Broadbent. Broadbent is the name of the person who put forward the filter theory. Then next was the filter attenuation theory. Who put forward that? Reina. Priestman. And the third one was multimode theory. Put forward by Johnston and Haynes. What happened to you, Ashish? What is wrong? Anything wrong? Is it the way that I teach? What happened? I need an answer now. Then only I'm continuing the portion.
No problem.
What is the problem? Why are you telling all these things to me?
So that they have some net issues, so the voice are breaking.
Okay, so if you miss a portion of the class, what should you do? What are you supposed to do?
I want to ask you.
You have to either ask me or you have to either ask help from your classmates. Otherwise, you have the videos being uploaded. Sorry, I'm getting emotional now. Videos being uploaded in YouTube, no? Why didn't you watch that? Enjoyed the Sunday?
No,
No?
no.
What were you doing?
Online class.
Online class. You had online class on Sunday. Sunday.
At least some
Huh?
Sunday class
Oh,
from
Sunday.
church.
Okay. I'll give you one more day. Okay? When you come tomorrow, the whole portion of this chapter has to be clear. If you have any doubt, you can call me, you can text me, or do whatever. You can watch YouTube videos. You do whatever you want, but you have to be thorough with the topic by tomorrow. Understood? Not only Ashish.
Yes.
Understood? And if you don't know an answer, tell that you don't know. Okay? Don't build up theories again. I have learned enough theories in psychology. I'm fed up of the theories in psychology now. Please don't bring up more filters. Okay, Ashish.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. No problem. You had net issues. I understand. But please go through the portion. Okay. Fine. Okay. Anyone, if the net issues we all have. Even I have these net issues. The school also might have the power failures, all those things. But please make up for the portions that you miss. Okay. Hmm? Fine. Okay, Ashish, come back. It's okay. Fine. Everything is fine. Okay. Yes, I didn't hear you.
The video is going off because of net issue.
Videos also because of net issue.
Yes.
Okay, that's also okay. Now listen to the class carefully. Okay. It's okay. Whatever happened, let's leave it. Tomorrow onwards, good students, study daily portions. Otherwise, I'm telling you, I'm going to jump from the fourth floor. For sure. And your names will be there. I'm telling you. Okay, now today we learn about sustained attention. We learned about the factors affecting selective attention. No, similarly, we'll learn about the factors affecting the sustained attention. Now, where did this thing go? Yeah, I'll share the screen. Everybody, take out your textbook if you have it. Mhm. Okay, can you see the board?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Meghna, please read out the factors influencing sustained attention, page 96. Each one read each factor. The first one. So wait. Just before we start, what is sustained attention? Who knows? Elvina, do you know what a sustained attention is?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, tell me or tell us.
Ignoring all the focusing only one thing, like ignoring all the other.
Sure. Did you?
Yes,
What was my question? I won't scold you. Don't worry. Don't get anxious. Just tell me what was my question.
what is sustained attention?
What is sustained attention? So you told me. What was your answer again? Selecting,
Ignoring
ignoring the rest. Yes. Then what is selective attention? Who knows the difference between selective attention and sustained attention? Aishwarya, yes.
In selective attention, you keep your attention only on one stimuli, ignoring the rest. But in sustained attention, you keep your attention on one stimuli, but for a longer time.
Yes, sustained attention. That's why I told you don't learn by heart all these things. Sustained means we keep it for a long period of time. Like those who have learned music, they will say at the end of the song, we'll sustain the tone and keep. Like we'll if there is a BGM or a humming, we'll just sustain it till the end. Hmm? That is means it will go from a high pitch to low pitch for a few seconds. It will be sustained. We don't stop it at sudden. That is sustained attention. Sustained attention means you attend to something for longer periods of time. Sustained attention and selective attention, from the name itself you can understand. If you select something, you ignore the rest. Okay. Okay. Any more confusions? No. Yes. So the factors influencing selective attention were, what were the factors, Meghna? We learned about some of the factors. Two sets of factors were there.
external and internal.
External factors and internal factors. And there were so many divisions among them. I hope you remember. If not, go and revise. Go home and revise the topic. Now, We are going to learn about the factors influencing which attention? Sustained attention. So Meghna, read out. First one is sensory modality.
Sensory modality is one of several factors can facilitate or inhibit an individual's performance on tasks of sustained attention. Sensory modality is one of them. Performance is found to be superior when the stimuli called signals are auditory than when they are visual. Clarity of stimuli is another factor. Intense long
Okay. Going like a frustrate. Sensory modality. What was sensory modality or sense modality? When we started learning about sensation, I told you according to different senses, we have different sense modalities or sensory modalities. For example, the vision, the auditory modality, we have the touch. For touch sensation we have a modality. For all the senses we have some modality. So those are the sensory modalities. So for sustained attention, sensory modality is something that influences our sustained attention, and here it is given. The performance is found to be superior when stimuli or the signals that we receive are auditory than when they are visual. So in case of sensory modality, auditory stimuli are the ones that has more amount of sustained attention than the visual ones. For example, you have a very lengthy song and you're having a video of an award film, without the audio. Okay, and which will you listen to first? Or which is more likely to be listened to for a longer period of time?
The song.
It's the song, right? Because the visual, again, you can't sustain the attention for a very long time as compared to the song, because you have to look at that, you have to see that, you have to continue seeing the same thing for a very long time. Whereas auditory, it is much more easier. Yes or no? You just have to hear that, and you can sustain the attention for this. You can get immersed in it, immersed in the song. You can enjoy the song and sit there for a much longer time than watching the particular video. Yes or no? That is how the sensory modality, that is the auditory modality, helps more in the sustained attention. So the first factor that influences sustained attention is sensory modality. And as an explanation, you have to write the performance is in auditory, in terms of auditory stimuli is higher or more than the visual stimuli. Okay, understood? Any doubt, anyone? No. Grishma, your videos of... Okay, the first point was sensory modality. So next person, Amal, read out clarity of stimuli.
Clarity of stimuli is another factor.
Yeah.
Intense and long-lasting stimuli facilitate sustained attention and result in the third better performance.
What happened? What happened? What is happening today?
What
What is
ma'am?
everyone? Why are you so much anxious? Not anxious. Did you hear him clearly, Aishwarya, Elvina, Meghna, and all? I also couldn't hear you, Amal. What happened?
I don't know, ma'am.
Today it's a bad day for psychology class. I don't know what happened. Anyways, can you read it slowly without what should I say? I don't know. I don't have words for that. Read it slowly and clearly. Okay, clarity of stimuli. It's clarity of stimuli. I need some clarity in that. Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
An example already. Yeah, Amal, come on.
Clarity of stimuli is another factor. Intense and long-lasting stimuli facilitate sustained attention and result in the third better performance. So, clarity of stimuli is another factor. Intense and long-lasting stimuli facilitate sustained attention and result in the third better performance. So, clarity of stimuli is another factor. Intense and long-lasting stimuli facilitate sustained attention and result in the third better performance. attention result in better performance.
Okay. So the problem is network issue, I think so, because your voice is breaking in between. I'll read it once more. Clarity of stimuli is another factor. Intense and long-lasting stimuli facilitate sustained attention and result in better performance. So here now you got a real life example. The stimulus was not clear, right? There was less clarity for the stimulus, for the auditory stimulus that we got just now from Amal. Yes, it's not Amal's mistake. Again, it's some network issue, no problem. So the stimulus that has more clarity and more intensity, that is the one that helps in more sustained attention than the ones that have less clarity and less intensity. Understood? So, and highly defined audio or highly defined video, HD videos, HD videos of mm, what? Yeah, again a BTS. Let's say our BTS video, a highly defined video or a video with high definition is more likely to uh, catch your attention, catch your sustained attention. You can sit there for a long time and watch an HD video for hours and hours, right? I mean, you need to be interested in it also. I won't watch for hours and hours in BTS. Yeah. So the clarity of the stimulus matters. If it is if it is high in clarity, then it helps to sustain our attention. If it is low in clarity, then it decreases our amount of sustained attention. Understood? Yes. So first point was sensory modality. Second one was clarity of stimuli. Now the third one, who will read? Ashish, read the third one, temporal uncertainty.
Temporal uncertainty is the third factor. When stimulus appears at the regular intervals of the time, they are attended better than when they appear at irregular intervals.
Okay. Temporal uncertainty, it is about the intervals of presentation of stimuli or the stimulus. Okay. And what does it said there? When stimuli appear at regular intervals of time, they are attended better than when they appear at irregular intervals. So regular intervals, when the stimulus is presented at regular intervals, it increases our sustained attention. If it is irregular, if the stimulus is presented at irregular intervals of time, then it decreases our sustained attention. So if at the same time I provide you with a stimulus at regular intervals and a stimulus at irregular intervals, then you are supposed to, or you are more likely to attend to the regular stimulus for a longer period of time than the irregular one. Okay, suppose I conduct an experiment and I provide uh, the blinking of a light. Now I blink it at every 5 seconds, or every 10 seconds I blink the light. That is one condition. And at another condition, I'll blink first at 5 seconds, then at 10 seconds, then I'll blink it at 12 seconds, then I'll blink it at 2 seconds, then I'll blink it at some 25 seconds, and then I'll blink it at after 1 minute, then I'll blink after 2 minutes, then I'll blink after 35 minutes. Then which condition is more likely to get your sustained attention? Condition A or B? Which do you think will sustain more attention? Yes,
The first one.
the first one, because you know that the blinking of the light will appear at this particular interval. So you'll attend to that situation. But in the other situation, you see some random signals coming at random time. After 1 minute, you are still waiting for the another blink of the light. So after 2 minutes, again you are again waiting. For 35 minutes, will you able to sustain your attention to see the blink of the light again? No, you'll be probably looking at the environment you're in, or if you have your friends around, you'll be looking at them and you'll try to see what they are doing, and you will again break your attention there, right? So at regular intervals, you are more likely to attend to the same thing for a very long time. So temporal uncertainty means the stimuli which are provided at regular intervals are more likely to sustain our attention than the ones which are provided at irregular intervals. Understood? Yes. Now the next point, I should read spatial uncertainty.
Spatial uncertainty is the fourth factor. Stimuli that appears at a fixed place are readily attended, whereas those that appear at random locations are difficult to attend.
Yes, spatial uncertainty. Spatial uncertainty, from the name itself, there is uncertainty in the space. Space means the location. Here we are referring to the location of the stimulus. Spatial uncertainty. This is the fourth point. Stimuli that appear at a fixed place that are readily attended, whereas those that appear at random locations are difficult to attend. So the ones at fixed place and the ones at random place. That is the difference here. Fixed place and random place. Okay, fixed place, where the stimulus present at the fixed place increases the sustained attention than the ones present at random place. Now, get back to your example that I told you just now, the blinking of the light. You are sitting in front of a white wall. Imagine you're sitting in front of a white wall and I'm providing the blinking of the light in front of the wall. That is one condition. That is, I'm presenting it at a fixed place. Okay. Then in the second condition, I'm providing it in different places. It might be on the side, it might be on the center, it might be on the corner of the wall, or it might be on some random point on the wall. Which is more likely to get your sustained attention? The first one again, right? Because you know that this particular light or the blinking of the light will occur at that fixed point or that fixed place. Yes. So you will be attending to that point very carefully and for a longer period of time. Yes or no? Yes. So that is spatial uncertainty. Those are the four factors. So which are the factors that affect our sustained attention, Reina?
Sensory modality, clarity of stimuli,
Place your mic towards your mouth. I can't hear you. Yes.
temporal uncertainty, and spatial uncertainty.
Spatial. It is spatial uncertainty. Then other two factors that we learned.
Sensory modality and clarity of stimuli.
And clarity of stimuli. So the four factors that influence our sustained attention are sensory modality, then clarity of stimuli, then what are the other two, Amal? What are the other two factors? Sensory modality, clarity of stimuli. The other two factors were
And temporal uncertainty,
Hmm.
spatial uncertainty.
Correct, Aishwarya? Are they correct? Yes.
I think it was sensory modality that he should say.
What are the 4 points? Can you just summarize, Aishwarya?
Sensory modality,
Hmm.
temporal uncertainty,
Hmm.
and clarity stimuli,
Hmm.
spatial uncertainty.
Okay. Again, sensory modality, clarity of stimuli, then temporal uncertainty, spatial uncertainty. Clear? Anybody who has a doubt, you can ask me now. Because we are moving on to the next topic. We are leaving attention behind and we are going towards perception. Any doubt? Any doubt? Till now? All clear? Fine? Okay, so we have finished sensation. We have finished attention. Now we are moving towards sen. What is the next thing in the chapter?
Perceptual process.
Perception. Okay. Yes. Who can read? Elvina, can you read perceptual processes? Page
Yes,
9.
ma'am.
The
Perceptual processes.
Hmm.
In the previous section, we have examined that the stimulation of sensory organs led us to the experience something such as a flash of light or a sound or a smell. This elementary experience called sensation does not provide us with any understanding of the stimulus that stimulated the sense organ. For example, it does not inform us about the source of the light, sound, or fragrance. In order to make sense out of the raw material provided by the sense system, we process it further. In doing so, we give meaning to stimuli by using our learning, memory, motivation, emotions, and other psychological processes. The process by
Mark that in your textbook. That's the definition for perception. The process by which, yes, read, Elvina. The process
the
by,
process by which we recognize, interpret, or give meaning to the information provided by sense organ is called perception.
just a minute. So from the first class itself, I'm telling this. The perception is a process through which we interpret whatever information we got from our sense organs. So sensation alone won't give us any information regarding the stimulus. It just gives the sense that there is a stimulus here. But if we want to know the meaning of it, if we want to know what the stimulus is, if we want to know how the stimulus is, if you want to know about the characteristics of the stimulus, then of course you have to perceive it. You have to interpret it. Understood? That is the process of perception. Again, the definition, the process by which we recognize, interpret, or give meaning to the information from the sense organs or the sensation is called the perception. Now, continue, Alvina.
In interpreting stimuli or events, individuals often construct them in their own ways. Thus, perception is not merely an interpretation of objects or events of the external or internal world as they exist. Instead, it is also a construction of those objects and events from one's own point of view. The process of meaning making involves certain sub-processes. These are shown in figure 5.
Just see figure 5.4. The stimulus comes first, and then the sensory receptors are there in our body in form of different sense organs. We have certain receptors there, so they sorry, they receive this information, and then what happens, all the processes happen regarding the nervous system, the neural mechanisms takes place, and finally we perceive things. Finally, the perception takes place. So, stimulus comes, the sensation or the sense organs work, the sensory receptors there receive the information, then it goes to the CNS, PNS, all those processes happen, and then only we can perceive that information. Understood? That's how perception takes place. Now, just before we go on to the different processes involved in the perception, I forgot you to tell something about attention. Last day we discussed about the magic number 7 plus or minus 2, right? Remember? I told you that the attention span of humans generally it is 7 plus or minus 2, which means 7 plus 2, 9, 7 minus 2, 5. So it ranges from 5 to 9. And have you noticed the number plates of cars and bikes? Yes. How many numbers, how many alphanumeric does it contain? Amal, Ashish, boys would know more, I suppose. Or are any motor enthusiasts girls here? How many numbers are there in a number plate? Or how many alphabets and numbers are there?
Minimum 2.
Sorry, Ashish, I can't hear. Please place your mic towards the mouth and speak.
Minimum 2
Minimum 2. Okay, generally in Kerala,
alphabets.
how many do you see? How many numbers are there usually?
1, 50,
Haven't
42,
observed?
47, 48. 1.
I'm asking KL14 will be there, of course, or KL7 will be there. And then you have something, no? A, B, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 2, all those things. So how many numbers are there after the KL7 and all? After the code of the place? Generally, do you have a vehicle at home? Ashish, Mal and all?
Yes.
But how many numbers are there? Don't tell the number. Videos being uploaded on the YouTube. Just tell the number of numbers or number of alphabets. Do you know the number?
1.
One.
1.
Only one number?
G.
1G.
G.
G.
After 3 numbers.
After G, 3 numbers are there. Right. So
Yes.
let it be G, 1, 2, 3. So there are 4. Yes. Okay. So these are kept.
Yes.
These numbers generally are come in the range of 4. The numbers will be 4 and then it will have some alpha numerics along with it. That is, alphabets might be there or other numbers might be there. Generally, it is kept 4. That is because if somebody overtakes or somebody causes an accident or if they exceed the limit, the speed limit on road, the traffic police can easily attend to it and easily memorize it. If it is a 12-digit number, can the traffic police really memorize it? The vehicle is already going in over speed. Can the person notice it and can the person memorize it? No. So all those things are kept or designed according to the psychological principles also. Okay, so that is a daily life example of our psychological theory of attention. Fine. That's a small topic that I want to tell. Now we move on to the processing approaches and perception. What is it? Processing approach and perception. So according to this processing approach, it is said that perception takes place in 2 forms. 2 types of processing are there in terms of perception. One is bottom up processing and the other one is top down processing. Bottom up means from the bottom we'll go up towards the more information. Top down processing means from the top we'll come down for the processing. Understood? Okay, bottom up processing, I'll explain again. I don't know why I find the dog to explain all the concepts. Each time, have you wondered? Have you ever wondered why this teacher is always selecting a dog to explain concepts? I was wondering the last day. I'm not a dog lover also. I like pets, but I'm not very crazy about dogs. But last day I was thinking each chapter I explained something or the other with the example of the dog. I don't know what happened. Okay, again, so today we'll select a cat. Okay. Now, bottom up processing means we go from the specific features to the general concept. That's what happens in bottom up processing. From specific to general. Bottom up, from the lower minute things to the general or the whole thing. That is, when you see a cat, let me be serious. When you see a cat, you see its paws, its nails, its fur, its tail, its eyes, the ears, and all those things, right? So they are the minute features of a cat. Now, from that, you integrate all the information and then you finally perceive it as the cat. With the earlier experiences, you know that dog is different from a cat. It is different from other animals with the 4 legs. It is small than the lion or the tiger. And the color, the body shape, all those things you already know. So from these minute things, you go to a general conclusion that it is a cat. Yes. So from the, I don't know to draw. I'll draw a cartoon of a cat. Please don't mind. Yeah. You see the eyes, you see the whiskers, you see the head, then you see the other body, you see the legs, the other limbs, then you see the ears, you see the tail. Horrible cat. Whatever it is. You see all these things, and then you decide, you know all other information. You think about all other animals who have this tail, this eyes, the ears, the whiskers. You cancel or delete all those information. It is not a dog, it is not a tiger, it is not a lion. And finally, you come up with the conclusion that it is a cat. Yes. So from the specific information were on the bottom. And from the specific information, you are going up towards the higher integration processes. That is, you integrated all the information regarding your senses. That is, you saw the cat, you heard its voice. How does a cat sound? Edwina, how does the cat sound?
Meow.
Oh, okay, you heard the meow, you saw all these parts, and you integrated all this information. You matched all this information with your early experiences, and then finally you decided that it is a cat. Okay, so from specific, we go to the general. Understood? That is known as bottom up processing. What is it called? Bottom up processing. Now, just the opposite. We have the opposite thing, that is top down processing. I'll show you one image. Just a minute. Yes. Can you see the image on the right? Yes. Okay. I will ask Aishwarya, can you read the thing in the box in both the pictures? Wait, just a minute. You have A and C on the either sides of the first image, and you have 12 and 14 on the either sides of the second image. Now you read what is in the box.
First one is A, B, C, and the second one is 12, 13, 14.
Okay. Did you notice that both the things are the same? Both the things in the box are the same?
Yes,
Yes. But why did you read it as B and the second one as 13?
because the first group contains alphabet and the other one contains number.
Yes. So you know the general information that these are alphabets and these are numbers. Yes or no? Yes. So in the other type of processing, that is top-down processing, you go from general to specific. Just the opposite of what happened in bottom-up processing. So from here we go from general to the specific things. So if I don't just explain all these concepts and just give you that image, you'll automatically read it as A, B, C and 12, 13, 14. Because you know the general information. Then only if I ask, you notice that both the images in the boxes are the same. Both the digits are the same. It is 1 and 3 put together in the same manner, in the same color, with the same background. Yes. So we go from the general information to the specific information. That is the top-down processing. Understood? Understood? Yes. So that's the simple topic. We have started the perception. Now, what else do we have? We have the perceiver, then we have different principles of perception. Then we have perceptual constancies, illusions. That's it. Then we'll finish this chapter also. Any doubt in today's topic? Any doubt? Anyone? No? All clear? Fine? Okay. So will you learn and come tomorrow? Yes? At least try to learn. I know you have all other subjects to learn. So make an effort at least to read the textbook. Okay? And if you find any doubt, you can ask me. I say the same thing daily, no? Okay, fine. Then thank you. See you next day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Wait, are you doing the projects? Are you doing it? I think the last date is next Monday, no? Ah, okay. Don't tell me any baba that day, okay? I discussed with you and then only we decided the last date. So make sure you submit it. At least think of it Sunday night. Okay. Bye then. Thank you. See you next day.